Yeah. Live?
Says go and you're live.
All
We're
right.
fucking live out here.
Stop Playing podcast, episode 2.
Dosey dose.
Finally got the setup going right. Last time a little technical difficulties with the off the Mac trapping off the MacBook,
Yeah.
but we're back.
What are we doing?
All
Hey, them boys.
right, we got the feed going. Shout out Advanced Nutrients one time. High Times cover in the back. Got shit going a little bit here. Not bad.
Not bad.
All right, so yeah, I got a few topics. I don't know. Oh yeah, let's introduce everybody. ShotByGreene, your host, your other host,
CMS Cap, the Don.
and your other host,
What up, I'm Zoom.
Zoom Gardens.
Zoom Gordon's in the building.
Yep.
And yeah, so I guess we just get right into it. I don't know, should we start with the UFO hearings last week? You up on that at all?
We can do that.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's a nice subject to start with.
So yeah, I forget what his title was. David Grush, his name was.
Yeah.
Testified under oath, said U.S. government is in possession of, I forget the word he used, but basically said like alien craft, out of world vehicles, and also said, and then he broke down that we had like a UFO retrieval program, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Yo, I saw this is out of pocket, but I did see that they're about to release this interview with a live alien from like 1991 or something, 1996. And I saw the interview.
I don't know if I believe that one though.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
I saw it, and they said that they had some honorable names that were in the video that they could point out, and they're about to do a hearing on the video.
I would need
At the
somebody.
Senate.
I would need somebody who was there when that video was shot to come out and be like, yeah, it was shot. I was there.
Well, that's what they're trying to do.
What
I
year?
don't know. Did you see the
It
video?
was 1996.
Oh, okay, that's not too long.
You might be able to pull up the video. We might be able to pull the video up. Actually, do you know how you would find it on YouTube? It's a tough one. But yeah, no, I seen it. It's like a really grainy like '90s camcorder video of
Yeah.
like a fucking.
Well,
It looks
they
like a
said-
gray
they said that-
alien.
They said that the crazy part about it was that they had extremely underqualified people doing health stuff, and this like the extraterrestrial was like extremely it was hurting. In other words,
Yeah.
it was like severely hurting. So
Yeah, I don't. I just don't know if I believe that video.
yeah, the most interesting encounter that I think is the one in Brazil that we talked about,
Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
see that documentary?
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
after you told me.
How do you feel about it? You're the skeptic in the room. I can tell.
Yeah, I'm a
He's not
skeptic.
buying
Yes,
it.
you know me.
Yeah.
Facts
You weren't buying
are
it though
facts, though.
like when you watched it.
All right, listen.
It wasn't.
I'm not a skeptic that there are UFOs. I'm not a skeptic that there is alien life outside of this world and our solar system. There obviously is.
You just don't think it's
100%.
you don't think it's come here,
I just don't know if it's come here.
right? I feel you.
And if it has, I think it's very misunderstood.
All right. So then, what do you think the UFO phenomenon is then? Like when people like, or do you not believe any eyewitnesses out there that have said they've seen craft or worked on craft? You think that's all bullshit? Or do you think that's just like dark project, secret program shit that the governments have?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Because this is my problem. Once you start asking those questions, if you do say, yeah, I think it's government, there's so many cases that go back before we had anything close to the capabilities, but they've showed those characteristics for so many years. So that's the part that kind of like, because I feel like I go back and forth with it where I'm like, sometimes I'm like, you know what, it probably is some black ops, secret program shit. But then it's like you hear about these older cases that were like going on, you know, before fucking World War I, and like there's a famous case, the Trinity bomb tests that Oppenheimer did in the atomic test, apparently, like, everyone thinks of Roswell as like one of the earliest UFO crashes, but there's one called Trinity. Actually, yo, you should pull this up on YouTube. Type in on YouTube Trinity UFO crash. And this is actually interesting because I saw Oppenheimer last week, and they were like, he set up the Trinity test, and you watch that in the movie and shit, and like, the person I was with, I kept telling him, like, yo, a UFO crashed after this test. She was like, shut up. But that's true. If you look it up, if he pulls it up, it was even on Fox News recently, which isn't the greatest.
Non-human remains found at UFO crash sites.
There should be like a 2 or 3 minute video in the top 5 if you type in Trinity UFO crash, and it's like a Fox video of a guy talking. But I mean, it is Fox, but there's other places it's on. But that's kind of crazy. The first first atomic test that we ever did, and a UFO crash like within miles of the test site. Kind of interesting. And there was a bunch of witnesses. There was like 2 kids that found it first, and they actually, like, the kids were interviewed as like, you know, in their like 60s or some shit, and yeah, they both testified that they walked up to it and stuff, and then ran home, told their parents, and then like there was like pieces that locals grabbed and shit like that. So I don't know. That's why I'm like, I don't know if it could be U.S. government shit, because if shit was going like moving light speed back before like World War I and World War II, it's kind of like, I don't know if that could be us or anybody else, you know?
Are we watching it?
Oh, you gotta switch the feed to there.
It's on there right now.
It's just we're a little behind.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that looks real.
Tucker Carlson's a motherfucker.
Yeah, this guy he's turned. Didn't he get fired recently?
Fired for being real.
Yeah. Oh, they can't hear the audio? Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean,
so
he was describing it. We'll have to figure that shit out. We're still fucking getting all the technical difficulties out of the way
The
here.
show has gone up 100,000
Yeah.
from the previous one.
Yeah, if you watch the first one and then see this one,
we had to
you know the difference.
We had to take a week off.
Yeah, we
get
had
it
to,
right.
had to
Get
get
the right
right real
equipment.
quick.
Get the right equipment right quick. But yeah, I'm a believer. I've seen UFOs multiple times. Not saying they were aliens, but I've seen them.
You've sent me videos.
I see 'em.
Legit videos. Actually, you sent me 3 in particular that are like, I think, I was telling you to send them to the news. You didn't want to do it. I was like, yo, send these to WPRI 12, whatever. You seen those?
I haven't seen yours, but I've seen some.
Bro,
something.
he was outside.
I told him to go out and he would see it. I was like, yo, bro, if you go outside.
So, you know what the Doppler effect is? Or is it the Doppler effect? It's I forget what it is. It's like when something's coming towards you at like high speed, it'd be blue light, and if something's going away from you, it's a red light.
No, I never heard of that.
I'm not sure if it's called that.
That is good to know.
Good to know.
But yeah, me and my boy who was in the military were out on his porch one night, and we were like pointing out stars, and I was like, "You see that star? Like that's Orion right there," and like everything. And then we see a satellite coming in, and I was like, "Oh shit, there's a satellite right there. Look, I'm pointing at it." And he was like, "Right there?" And I was like, "Yeah, right there. Like point at it. You see it?" And I was like, "Yeah, right there." And then in a split second, it just went. And it was a red light, so it turned from white to red really quick, and it was gone. I don't know if that's
shit.
what it's called, the effect, but that was the most unexplainable thing I've ever seen. And I've had a lot of friends who have seen some stuff, but
Yeah.
I've mixed theories about what they saw. So
Right. Well, one day I'm chilling at the house. He calls me. He's freaking out. He's like, check your phone. So he sends me a video of a light, and it's moving.
It's midday.
Yeah, midday, bright as fuck, clear day,
No clouds.
and it's moving like crazy first. So like it already looks weird in the video he sends, and then sends me a second video, and it's literally a jet flying up to it. As soon as the jet gets close to it, it like moved. It like went away from it or something, right? I
Yeah.
forget. And then
like a jet, and then like a army helicopter.
yeah, so first the jet comes, and as soon as the jet like was approaching it, it fucking dipped off, got away from it. Minutes later, you see Blackhawks come, and then they're getting close to it, and then it moves again.
It was crazy.
And he's got the 3 videos too.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, put these in a reel, send this around.
Yeah. Yep, I believe in all that stuff. Mainly, like there's a lot of stories that go. There's not stories. There's a lot of stuff that goes back. You know, that couple. Who's that couple?
Betty and Barney Hill.
Yeah, Betty and Barney. That,
Yeah, the cigar.
yeah. There's
Yep.
a lot, bro. Even I mean, and it's. I don't want to say it on the podcast, but our government is very tricky. So it's hard to know. It's hard for just us regular people to really fucking know what's going on. But we can't ignore what other people see and what we see. And that's one of those things where we have to start taking answers and you know really looking into things, because there's a lot that goes on here. I mean, you talk to some of these pilots and they're talking about, you know, 30 to 50 sightings a day.
Yeah, no, the pilot stuff is like, that's kind of like what brought me back into it, because like I got into it like years ago and then started to like convince myself it was just like, it must be our government with like secret technology that they're keeping and blah, blah, blah. But then you start hearing about the pilots, and then like, you know, these are people that we trust to like drop bombs out of planes and defend the country, and like they're coming back like, yo, I literally like raced one around and it was chasing me and it was mimicking my moves. One went to some dude's cap point, which is like, you know, like a secret location that they're supposed to go back to after
Just
a mission.
toying with us.
Yeah, it was.
toying with us.
It met up with them, and then like it disappeared, zoomed off, and then he hears on the radio, they're like, it was Lieutenant Fravor, and they're like, yeah, that thing's at your cap point waiting for you. And it literally was. He started flying back. It was there. It dipped off again. And another crazy thing about the Favor story is, I feel like no one talks about this. He said something about when he first seen the Tic Tac.
Underwater.
It was right above the surface, and under that was a giant ship in the water.
Yeah.
And then like as soon as it
That
got
part
close.
kinda got skipped over.
And yeah, that was crazy to me, because it was like he was doing it. Several interviews about it, and each time he kind of glosses over that, and no one ever really kind of like.
Yeah, because that's the most unbelievable part.
Yeah, but
So if you say something like that, it's almost like more unbelievable. And if
Yeah.
you tell a story, you want people to believe you.
why you think Favor's lying? You think he's making it up?
No, I'm
No,
saying
he's saying that's the hardest part of the story for him to tell if he wants people to believe him.
Oh
Right, so
yeah.
people-
I hear you.
like in certain circumstances, people in any storytelling,
Right.
sometimes
yeah.
you just don't say the most unbelievable part to make yourself more believable.
Yeah, that's true. And they do kind of feel like they're
Because that is the most
slow
unbelievable
feeding
part.
it to the public right now. Like they're kind of like in pieces, bits and pieces, you know. Another thing he said, that same guy, was on another mission. They were going to retrieve a dead like torpedo, and it was floating, and dude dropped down on the rope or the ladder, whatever, to hook it up. As soon as he was getting close to it, same thing, big shadow came underneath it and just went, phoom, pulled the torpedo down, and they were just like, all right, we're out. Left, said nothing after.
It's kind of hard to really. It's one of those things you can't just grasp it, you know.
Oh, do you guys have you ever heard of Travis Walton?
Mm-hmm. He's an older guy, right?
He was the guy who he apparently got abducted in front of 5 people. There was Spielberg made a movie about it called Fire in the Sky.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
He was
So
on Joe Rogan, right?
Travis Walton was, yeah, and apparently like 5 of these guys, they cut trees.
They were working.
They were working.
Yep.
They get in a truck. They're leaving, middle of the forest. They see this friggin' ship just like hovering like 50 feet above the ground, and it was in a clearing. And they pull up to it. Travis got out of the car and started walking to it, and his homies all stayed in the car, and they're yelling at him. And these guys have all testified and took lie detector tests. They almost all got charged for his murder because he went missing for 5 days, and they all said, yo, we saw him go up to the ship, and he gets right underneath it, and it started, they said, a crazy humming noise, like just like overwhelmed everybody, and they all got extremely scared, like they were about to dip. And then all of a sudden a beam hits Travis, he goes flying backwards, and they thought, oh, he's dead, and they dipped off without him. They get down the road, and someone in the car was like, we have to go back for him. They went back, and he wasn't there in the wide open clearing, you know, no trees around. So eventually they look for him for a little while, they go back to town, they report it to the cops, and they all were about to get charged for his murder. And it took 5 days, and this made like national news at the time. 5 days later, Travis says he woke up somewhere, and he remembers his whole like abduction, and he describes it in detail, what happened and what he saw. But then he said like they just like dropped him back off somewhere. He found the nearest payphone, and he was miles away, got picked up. And then everybody took lie detector tests and passed it, which is really weird.
This goes back to what just happened in Vegas.
What happened in Vegas? Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's footage, and I saw footage on TikTok, so I don't think we'll be able to bring it up. But I saw footage on TikTok of multiple camera angles from this event. You have regular people who are working and providing for their families, and things like this happen, and it ruins their lives.
Right.
It just does. It ruins their lives, and they're no longer. I mean, you know, they get death threats, and you have people with suits showing up at your door 24/7. So it's like one of those things where it's not like in today's day and age, it's not something fun to fake.
Well, that Vegas one was weird because there's
They
literally
had it on live camera on
they had it
police
from the
officers.
cops' vehicles, from their body cams, and you see this craft fall down into a neighborhood, and then you hear there's other ring camera footage of it, and you hear this thing just smash right in the neighborhood. Like it sounds like it's in your backyard. And then you got this family who calls the cops, and they're just they're like, yo, this sounds crazy, but like we just seen
There's
like being
fucking
like
10-foot beings in our backyard.
Yeah, I heard that.
And then you see the cop, like, it falls, and then the cops, like, go up and pull up, and, like, it's almost, like, all one shot, like, on their body cams. It's kind of crazy.
So,
And that family went into hiding. They can't, like, some people are claiming, like, oh, they just don't want any more media attention, so that very well could be the very normal reason behind it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, apparently that family, like,
there's multiple. Like, okay, yeah, there's people who see shit in the sky all the time. But there's highly, highly detailed events now that have gone down. That people, you know, people stand by and, I mean, literally will lose their lives over defending the truth. You know, it's fucking crazy. That Bargenia event,
mm-hmm.
bro, like, people, like, they didn't even want to talk about it. They were like, nope, we don't talk about it. We'll shoot you. Come here, come closer, we'll shoot. It's like, I mean, dude, there becomes a point to where you really got to think about what people have seen and known. There was a guy in that from Brazil. He was an officer in the army, and he picked this being up.
Yeah, and drove it.
And he died a day later.
Yep.
From touching this thing and getting whatever was like made of fucking into his bloodstream.
They said the hospital smelt for months after that. They couldn't get it was like a bad sulfur smell.
Then at the very end of the documentary, I think they interviewed one of the guys who drove the extraterrestrial around.
Or there was someone they tried to interview, and he pulled a gun out, and he was like, "Oh, he's like, I'm not talking about it. Get off my property."
Yeah.
I think he was the one that was the other one that drove him.
All right. So one thing we've been doing is ignoring the chat.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Cap, what's your favorite strain out now? My favorite strain out, I couldn't answer that because I got so many strains in the library that have been out of rotation for so long that I really gotta. I mean, one that's coming out that's crazy is Double Dipper. Cap, what's your favorite strain out now? And I mean, there's that new Fireball. That shit looks crazy. Grease Trap. I don't know. There's too many new strains going on at the camp. There's too many new strains in rotation after that. And if you think I'm lying, you can ask Bunt because he's ready to fucking quit. I just popped like 700 seeds. It's a problem. But that's what we do.
Yo, if you guys want Bunt on the next episode, let us know in the chat too. Should we get Bunt on here?
Huh?
Someone just pulled it.
Don't know.
What's my favorite food? My favorite food? Alright.
Yo, perfect segue.
Right. My
Favorite
favorite
food.
food is downtown Providence, Figadini's, right next to Lupo's or whatever it's called now. Go in there, get the Hell Girl, the pizza, Neapolitan style, cooked at 900 degrees, takes about 90 seconds to cook. Some soprasad, some Aquidneck Island hot honey, buffalo mozzarella. That's all you gotta know.
All right. What's
Yeah,
your favorite
don't
food?
don't be bringing that to nobody. You go there and you keep your shit quiet and then you fucking leave.
Yeah, I still have a bed there. What's yours?
I like blueberries.
Yeah,
I'd eat blueberries all day.
he's a blueberry
Okay.
guy.
Fair enough.
He's a fucking blueberry guy. Shout out Advanced Nutrients.
Shout out.
Ooh, my bad, guys. Favorite food? I'm going with like if it's like last meal type shit. If I gotta choose my last meal, it's gonna be like a
9 pounds of blueberries.
not like a 12-ounce New York strip, sweet potato, asparagus, some shit like that, or like or like Cajun seafood.
Mm.
You know when you just grab those like bags?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my shit too.
chicken crab type shit.
Yep. Some crab legs. Oh, did you guys hear about this Diddy? Diddy was supposed to partner for like $185 million with the cannabis companies.
Shit flopped.
Yep.
Shit flopped. I think that's a good. A conversation is celebrities and cannabis.
Yeah.
Because it seems like, from my perspective, and it's just because of the whole rapper thing with weed, and it might not be rappers specifically. It might just be celebrities. I know David Ortiz is doing something in Massachusetts, and whoever the next NFL athlete or NBA who comes out with a line. But I feel like there's a stigma on superstars and weed companies,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the times shit don't work. Like, it's just because you can't just put a big name on this. Like, this goes back to what I said from the very this goes back to what I've always said about cannabis from the very beginning. Just because you have a lot of money does not mean that you can get into the weed game. It does not mean that. Just because you got bread does not mean that you can get into the weed game. Because if you don't have a CMS cap, or you don't have the industry guy or the weed guy, the shit ain't gonna work. And a lot of the times people get so ahead of themselves because they think of this industry as dollars, and that's not how this works.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're growing plants, which is it's an art form. So if there's not someone passionate behind that, you're cooked. You know what I
You
mean?
fucking cooked, yo. Listen, I did this forever with partners, and the reason why it never worked for me with partnerships I'm talking before this.
Right. Right.
But the reason it never worked for me with partners is because nobody was as into it as I was. So I was always carrying the weight. And
Right.
I put up the money, and I did and it never worked because it was always more on my end. And Zoom knows, and I'm sure even by this point just because you have money doesn't mean that you should be in a weed game.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. So I guess this is what happened. Just to fill everybody in with this Diddy thing.
Perfect example.
Diddy will have to find another cannabis company to capitalize on, as the bad boy mogul intended $185 million purchase to acquire a pair of marijuana operations is no longer going down. Sources with direct knowledge tell us Diddy waited in the wings as Cresco Labs and Columbia Care planned their proposed merger that was agreed upon last year. However, we're told the shareholders never reached an agreement, and Diddy's deal was terminated earlier this week as a consequence. Diddy's team tells us he and his Combs global empire still have vested interest in pursuing opportunities to diversify the cannabis industry. They just have to find the perfect fit.
Well, why don't you come over to this side, fam? Because we could. No, I'm just playing.
Come to death row.
We can plug you in. Hold on. Do you believe in ghosts?
Sam and Kobe, bro. No, just kidding. I think I do.
So you believe more in ghosts than you do UFOs
No.
then?
No,
No.
no. I believe in you. I believe in UFOs. It's hard to believe. Accidents happen, obviously, and it's just hard to believe that, like, something that can traverse the universe can just
Well,
splat into Earth.
well, then there's another.
True.
There's another side of this though,
I
which
hear
is
you.
multi-dimension. That's something else that they're talking about. Like, I heard
Right.
about
And I think that has a lot to. I think a lot to do with the UFO phenomenon as a whole is just that we don't have the ability to comprehend what it even
I saw
right now.
It was that Grush, right? He
Yep.
said that there was a UFO they had. It was like 12 feet wide. When you went into it, it was
Yeah, like a
two
football
two
field.
football
Yeah.
fields. So it could carry so many. There's just
That's
things we're not meant
wild.
to understand. We're just
Right.
not. The whole propulsion systems with Bob Lazar. There was a scientist in before him who tried to cut into one of the gravitational the things that made the
and
system move.
exploded. Yeah.
And they tried to cut into it with a plasma cutter, and the dude died. It didn't do any damage to what they were cutting into.
Yeah.
Element 115. It's an element now that's on our, it's on our chart. That wasn't a thing before. Bob Lazar brought it to the table. So I mean, there's a lot. This shit make you think.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you don't buy the Bob Lazar story.
Well, there's proof that he worked there.
Yeah.
No, but I like this. I like that. I want to I want to hear what you think about it then. Cause I've been on the fence with Bob Lazar a couple times. Like there's a lot of shit that goes against him too online. If you look for it, if you don't want to see it and you just want to believe the story, you won't see all that stuff. But
like, here's the thing, like, there could be plants, bro. like
plants, like how?
Like, he could just be planted. Like, you think
Oh.
like someone's gonna
Like
come
as
out
part
and
of a
just be able to say
disinformation campaign
I
type
would
of thing.
say
that? Yeah.
there's thing, and I agree. Those are very possible. But the thing is that with Bob Lazar was what he did leading up to where he went was it all ties into each other. Like, this dude put a jet engine in, like,
Yeah, he was a rocket scientist. He put a
Yeah.
jet engine in his Corolla.
yeah.
Right.
So, like, it does make sense that they would scout this guy to come and try to look at and yo, what it's like handing a child a MacBook hard drive and being like, hey, figure this out, take it apart.
Yeah,
It's just not
probably even more so.
right. Even worse. It's way worse.
It's probably more so like giving like a caterpillar a MacBook.
Right. That's
Good.
better. That's better.
But the
from what we
caterpillar
do
doesn't
know,
even have hands.
from what we do know, we can't figure out how these systems work, but we have flown them.
Yeah, you know what? He had an analogy for that. He said it's like dropping off a motorcycle in medieval times. Eventually, the people will learn to ride it and maneuver it, but they're not going to understand what the fuck it is
Right.
or how the fuck to make another one
Yeah.
or make the materials even to. So, it is kind of like that. I think when you think
Yeah.
about that. It's like we probably don't have the elements. We don't have like the technology to make the material, and that's when there's also another rabbit hole of like people saying like UFOs are just like humans in the future,
Yeah.
and it's kind of just like the progression of
That's what
us.
Greys are supposed to be.
Yeah, and then I've heard like it kind of makes sense when you think about that because they say like the more we get run by technology, the less we'll be outside. Our bodies will start to get smaller. Our heads will get bigger.
Yeah.
And that is interesting to
I
think
mean,
about.
listen, like I'm a skeptic, but I do flip flop.
Right.
Well, there's yeah, but 'cause
That's
you,
like,
you have to question things. You
Yeah.
just have to.
Yeah, I think if you just believe it all, it's kind of just like, it's like whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
unless you're willing to question everything and try to like look into it, it's like,
stop playing.
stop playing
Shout out to my boy
9000s.
Isaiah. I wanted to make sure I shouted Isaiah out in the
Oh
chat.
yeah, big shout out to Isaiah
Same mess
actually.
on the tongue right here, okay? Stop playing on the side. These are stop playing 9000s right here. These, you dripped up. If you go out on these, you're taking some women home, just saying. Stop fucking playing. Anyways, there's a couple questions going on that we're not answering. I'm a huge fan of simulation theory. Where are you guys at with that?
Ooh. You know what?
Yo,
I've never been too sold on it, but like,
since I've been thinking about it, I've been driving around and I've been looking at shit. And I'm like, yo, what if this is just a fucking simulation? It could be. It might not be.
right, that's the fucked up thing about the whole theory is like, it very well could be true, but it's almost like one that you don't want to believe is true because then it's just like,
hard to
fuck.
That's a darker theory.
Exactly.
what-
It sends you down
You know
a
what
dark
else,
hole.
You know what else they talk about
Very
is
dark.
that evolution has gone on. Like like especially with the pyramids, like they think that was from a time previous to when it actually was, and because obviously we know the Egyptians couldn't build the pyramids. It's like we know that we couldn't. They said today we could not make them as on point as they were
Yeah.
with their angles and their where they are.
Yeah.
Another one I flip flop on.
I flip flop on all this stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me. It's hard for me to even think about it and talk about it at the same time because
Right.
my mind is racing so hard.
Yeah,
And
you
then
can
what
almost
the-
argue both sides.
Then what happens
Yes,
if you
is
want-
exactly.
Yeah.
when they come out with it, like I've talked to people who I'm like, yo, you don't believe in aliens? And they're like, no. And I'm like, have you turned on the fucking news? Have you watched anything? And then, but then it's hard. Usually it's no, because they don't even care at this point. That's the other thing is people are starting not to care because this thing's been a thing for so long that people don't give a shit. But also, it makes you sit here and question, why are they telling us this?
Yup.
Yeah, that's
Project
probably
Bluebeam.
the biggest question
Project Bluebeam's crazy.
because they are just like flooding the UFO stuff recently. Ever since like the balloons that were flying over at the UFO talk started like mainstream, I feel like.
Yeah.
I've been driving around and thinking about being in a little Sims world, you know, but a more advanced one. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. All right. I've had an experience with another person who saw a ghost. We saw a translucent aura of a blonde woman glowing 1800s white gown in an old chapel in a cemetery with my wife's stepmom. I was looking into the window, jaw dropped. She says, "Do you see her too?" I was skeptical before that. See, and those are things that happen to where you have to really look at when more than one person experiences something. Yo, my kids have said things to me, like that I've dealt with at my house where I live now, where I haven't said a word to anybody about it. And my kids say shit to me.
I go back and forth with the ghost thing. Like I don't even want to say like the ghost thing because like I don't know if I believe just like ghosts walking around type shit. But I've had like one thing happen to me in my life that made me like consider like the realm of possibility with all of it, and didn't see anything, but was sitting at home in my old house. Like this was probably like 5 or 6 years ago. And the person I'm with, we're just laying there watching a movie. All of a sudden, the biggest like gust of wind, like a airplane jet, just turned on for like 3 seconds, just like hit us both, and we both felt it. We both like were like overwhelmed by it and looked at each other like, what the fuck was that?
Mm-hmm.
In a little studio apartment, hard wind like just like hit us all of a sudden. And it was like, there was a noise to it that I don't even think I could explain right now. But Yeah, we both like looked at each other, and for whatever reason, we were both like extremely bothered by it. Like felt like uneasy. Like, yo, what the fuck was that? And that's kind of like the only thing I've ever had even close that I would describe like ghost type shit.
One of my
I've
boys
ne-
one time, this is crazy. This is really kind of what started all this stuff for me. We're in his room. Dude, we were young. We were probably like 15, 16. The most non-religious person you ever met in your life. My boy Tim. Shout out you, Tim. I mean, dude, like, we're talking about aliens and all this stuff, and like, I just seen his face go, fuck it. Dude, it went pure white, and this dude was just looking at me, bro. He just locked in on me. It looked like he wanted me to hug him, and he was just fucking rambling at the mouth, bro. Like, just,
what?
like, you, like, staring at me, and it was, like, 6 of my friends there, too. And homie's just, like, saying all this shit, bro. And I was like, yo, you good? That was the only thing I could say to him. And he was just staring at me, bro, fucking talking about God and all this shit. And he was, like, he didn't believe in God or anything. So,
like it wasn't like him to talk like
no,
that.
it was a different person, bro. I put my life on it, and
Damn.
then it fucking, dude, he fucking snapped out of it, and he didn't even know what happened. He was like, I was fucking freaked out, bro. I was trying to go give the dude a hug or something, you know, but I was so scared. I don't like stuff like that.
Have you ever had? I feel like you have one, right?
I do, but like I said,
You go looking for it though. I feel like you post stuff at like haunted spots a lot.
I do.
Yeah, I peep that on the stories sometimes.
So I don't know if I want to get into this, but
Get into it.
Stop playing.
I used to live in a house that had a stream going north and a stream going south, and I guess what they call a vortex happens when that occurs, and that house was definitely occupied by more than the living. If I were
Wait,
to
what's
say.
a vortex?
So usually, like when you're in a close area, like there's usually not bodies of water moving in two opposite directions. So there's a hill with a spring.
Oh, you're talking about like in the ocean, a vortex?
It was near the ocean, but it was no. I'm talking about like an energy vortex. Like,
All right.
Um,
That's what I thought.
yeah. So this house, old house, built right in the middle of these two streams, and some stuff went down there for sure.
Yeah, like with you.
Yeah, with
Like
me,
what?
with other people.
Let's hear it.
Um,
Ghost stories with Zoom.
all right.
Smoking Players Cake right now. Shout out to you.
Shut up.
That's what I'm smoking right now. Players cake. Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
it was me and my girlfriend
Oh.
laying in bed, and I had a metallic. It was a Chinese food box from Michael's, like the arts and crafts store, and it was about this big, Chinese food box, and it had a metallic finish on it, like like a CD, like the back of a CD. That's what
Yeah.
it looked like. And we're laying there about to go to sleep, and all of a sudden, so first of all, it's on a bureau that has a railing, like a metal rail right here, so nothing can like fall off of it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, the thing just pops up and hits the ground. Had like 7 pencils in it. It had just like a bunch of pencils in it. Pencils go flying everywhere. And I jump out of bed. I'm like looking for like a squirrel or something in my room, like a raccoon or squirrel, anything that could have knocked that thing over. Because like I said, it couldn't have slid off the table. Like it was a bureau, probably that high. And this is when it gets like sort of unbelievable, because that's like, I don't know, like a animal or something could have done that.
Yeah.
And I grab it, put it back on the counter or bureau, whatever, and I just go lie in bed again. And my girl was freaking out at the time, like I'm freaked out. We had no idea what it was. And this is like remember when I said you don't tell the parts of stories that are the most unbelievable?
Right. Yeah.
This is the part. So I had a gallon of water sitting there, and it was half full. So that thing must have weighed like 4 pounds at least. I don't know how much a gallon of water weighs exactly, but it had to have weighed more than 4 pounds.
Something like that.
Wally, confirm that, please.
Yeah.
Wally.
How much a gallon of water weighs? So 2 minutes later, probably not even, that thing, just like someone went like this, pops up.
8.34 pounds.
How much?
8.34.
All right,
Oh,
so
wow.
like 4 pounds. I knew it roughly.
I thought 4 was too much. Wait, so it clear off the table and smashed on the floor?
Yeah, and that thing had a bar, a metal bar, that was across it. It was probably this high. The metal bar was.
Oh, yeah,
Up
yeah,
here.
right. So it hopped that shit.
It hopped it and slammed on the ground as hard as a half a gallon of water would slam on the
Yeah.
ground.
Out, bro.
Yeah.
Stop playing.
But this is the thing. We did not move.
Right, that's the other.
We
side
didn't
of it.
say anything.
So shook.
We just kind of embraced each other, and
Yeah.
we didn't say anything, bro. Nothing.
Were you guys scared in the moment though?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the scariest shit that ever happened to me.
Yeah, see, like, shit like that be hard to describe.
But
because, like,
it's
it
weird.
doesn't
'cause
sound too crazy, but, like, when you're there,
Yeah.
you're like, yo, that that was fucked.
And it's weird because it was a metallic Chinese food box, like arts and crafts, like box, and then a water jug half full, and that shit was.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to even say, like that. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. But
I'm just peeping the chat real quick.
that's my story.
Well, this brings me back to when I lived on Oakland Ave.
Wally.
Bro, again,
Okay,
not a
truly.
huge fucking ghost guy. And fucking when I had my daughter, yo, once you have a kid, same situation as that. Like, once you're alone, yo, this shit different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when you're alone, shit's just different. So I'm saying, this was a couple times. Whatever this was really fucked with me. Like, in a bad way. Like, really fucking tortured me for like a week straight. I'm sitting on my couch. It was like this, and then it was like an open living room, and the kitchen was like straight ahead from me. The fridge was like probably like 30 feet that way. So I'm sitting there watching TV one night. There's a paper bag on top of the fridge, like right in the middle, and I'm watching it, and it just fucking falls over, and I'm like, whatever, like. Then it just fucking flew off the top of the fridge. And I fucking ran upstairs and I went to bed. I was like, fuck that.
Oh, shit.
So then, 2 nights later, my daughter's in a bassinet. She was a baby, so she was in my room. In her room, there was a monkey toy, and it was a peekaboo toy, and it said, I see you. I see you. I heard it going off in the middle of the night.
I have a story that is fucking crazy.
That's a red flag. I wouldn't even have bought that toy.
I see you. I turned it off. 2 hours later, I see you. I'm getting goosebumps again.
Hell no.
Swear to God.
So
Swear to fucking
you
God.
fucked up when you went to the store and saw a toy and then heard it say "I see you" and thought this is a good one to
I
buy.
didn't buy it. I didn't buy
That shit
it.
was
It
cursed from the
baby
get go.
shower. But my point was that I shut the fucking toy off, and I knew it was off, and it was still going off. And when I went to
Bro,
look
I
at
have
it,
a story that's literally so similar to
Switch
that. It's
was off.
crazy.
That's fucked.
A few nights later, I'm in bed, middle of the night. I wake up. My door opens. My door to my room opens, and there's a hanger on it, and it just starts rocking right next to me.
Ugh.
And that was it. And then I was done. And then I moved.
Nope.
Well, I was already moving, but we were moving. But it was like that was enough for me.
Yeah.
I'm all set with that kind of stuff. The kids' toys scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, so you remember mini clips?
Yeah.
You guys remember those?
Yeah.
They were like the little tiny like keychain things that you put a little
Yeah.
like fake CD in,
Oh yeah.
and
yeah.
it would play like a part of a song.
Yep.
Yeah, you were hip if you had those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit. That was.
So I was 4.5, right? We just moved into a new house. we moved into that house is 130 years old, very old house.
Flag.
Red
Yeah.
flag.
And so I had, I think it's In Sync, right? Bye, bye, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, bye, 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 bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that song, right?
That's the one.
In my drawer, probably like the second week we were in that house, and that thing just starts going off in the middle of the night, like. And so, my dad comes into the room, and he's like, "Why is this on?" And I was like, "I don't know." Little kid, like little kid, 4.5 years old. I don't know.
Right.
Goes over, opens up my drawer, sees it, takes out the thing, puts it back.
Oh,
Like
hell no.
30 minutes later.
Hell
bye,
no.
bye, bye, bye.
What?
Yeah. Bro, that shit is actually bringing back memories. Like, that was the craziest shit ever.
Yeah.
We just moved in that house too. And
That's fucked.
that house was creepy.
130 years old.
That house was creepy.
That house has seen
And,
some shit.
this didn't happen once or twice. It happened 3 times. 3 times. Not that. That happened a couple times too, but that happened for like a week. Like literally a week. But what happened 3 times was people came to the house, knocking on my front door, and they would all be like, "Oh, I used to live here." Like it was an older woman first, then like a couple.
That's weird when people do that.
They're
though.
like, we used to live here, like, and my mom
No.
would.
That shit.
My
Right.
mom brought them around the house, like, because, and this older lady who first came, she was like a 90-year-old lady, came to the house because she was like, "I grew up in this house when I was a little girl. I want to see it, like, before, like, I die again. Like, basically, before I die. I want to see it again." And she was telling us how there was a spiral staircase in the mudroom and how, like, all this stuff that we didn't know about the house. But it's weird, like, having people come to their old house being like, "I want to see it again." Like, something
Yeah, that's-
happened. Something happened to them too.
Right. That's a red flag off top. You come back to, that's how all horror movies start. I used to live here.
Yeah.
I'd be, nope.
Yeah. But that bye bye
Absolutely
song
not.
was weird
You don't
because
even know if they're real people. Like, I don't want to get into that, but.
If they're real people, facts, right.
it's that simulation.
And people love when you let them into your home.
Yeah, that's
Come on
an
down.
absolute no. I can't let you see the layout, how shit look in here. Hell no. You might be back. You might try to circle back
Check the chat.
when the lights are off.
Yeah, but that mini clip thing was that reminded me of that story because that was crazy.
Hey,
And it's crazy because it was that song. I had like a bunch of those mini clips. Like I had like, you know, like I don't know, like a Britney Spears one, a Christina Aguilera one, Backstreet Boys ones, In Sync ones, but it was just that one, the Bye 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 song.
Yeah. The creepiest song out of all of them.
Yeah.
I see. No, this is what it said. My kid's toy. I see you. I love you.
Hell no.
See,
Hell
it's creepy.
no.
Well, not that long ago, the kid. Once you have kids too, that opens a whole different realm of people seeing things. Kids they say that kids see things. One day, I'm
Oh,
home,
yeah.
and my daughter is having a full-blown conversation with someone in my bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, what is it called? The something curtain, like or the veil or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk
like,
about.
like kids can see everything.
Yeah, you
Bro,
lose it as you get
full-blown
older.
Conversation. She comes out and says, "Who are you talking to?" She goes, "My friend." And I was like, "Nah, nope."
Nope.
Yeah, my brother had imaginary friends, Buddy and Budette. That was his imaginary friends, and he would talk to them. And I remember, bro, like listening to him talk to them, and it
I
was.
feel like I can't remember if I had an imaginary
What
friend
makes
or
you
not.
imaginary? That's what I like that because you like kids say a lot of things, and like I don't think a 4-year-old's just out here lying. You know, it's a weird. It's fucking scary. Weird ass shit.
That's how I feel about cats too. That's why
Yeah,
cats freak
be
me out.
looking at
Cats all of a sudden, cats will
Yo,
just spaz. All of a
fuck
sudden, you're like, what are
cats.
you looking at?
Yo, fuck a cat, bro.
Right? They'll make you feel scared in your own house. Like, yo, what do you see, bro?
Yeah, they just be like,
Like
yo,
they're tracking something
They're
too, and you're
literally
like, yo,
tracking
what are
something.
you doing? Hell no.
Yeah.
Zoom's super tuned in with animals. I feel like he know.
Yeah.
I don't
Used
know
to
what
have two
cats got,
cats.
what cats are built from, where they come from, but they be seeing shit.
Yeah.
All right, so we kind of been on the. Okay, we got. What are your thoughts on remediated cannabis? Trash.
Trash.
And then we got how do I enter the industry? I'm from Texas. To go off remediated cannabis.
Yeah, but what is? I don't know what that is. Explain.
I'm gonna say this just like this:
I'll
if
explain
you are growing, if you are growing weed, and you are selling cannabis that's remediated with no disclosure, you're a scumbag. Because there's people out here who literally have no idea. Bro, you could say something's remediated to somebody, and they still won't even fucking know.
Wait,
They won't-
what is remediated for people who
remediation
don't know?
so when you, like in Rhode Island, we have very strict testing, right? If you're selling remediated weed and not telling, I did say disclosing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. All right. I didn't want to come too hard. But what happens is, so like we get tested for microbials, yeast and mold. They all
Right.
fall in the same category. So if I fail, we haven't failed in 7 months. Shout out to us. If we fail a test, then you can't sell it until it's passed. So
Right.
basically, if you fail for yeast and mold, you have the option to either take the L, which a lot of people won't do, or remediate it, which means it goes through a series of either UV or I think there's another radiation. So it literally dumbs the weed down, and it hurts the terps, it hurts everything.
Yeah, but that's not even the biggest
Go ahead.
concern there.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
It's
right.
just-
I'm wondering here, radiation.
That's not the big. Yeah, that's the biggest concern.
Yeah, you're killing all the microbes with radiation.
And then
or UV
that's
lighting.
that there must be like
then
there's no
you-
residuals of that like that are left over.
Dead bacteria, dead fungal spores. It's just all inert at that point after that, but it's still there. Yeah, it's still there. It's just
Got
not
it.
reading on tests.
So
It's all the crispy carbon
there's some
at that
cultivators.
point.
There's some cultivations across the world that will remediate everything before testing.
Yep. Yeah, just as a fail-safe.
They don't even because what happens is, so this is what happens.
Because it's like it's like a
Guarantee
guarantee.
pass.
So what happens is if you fail,
Damn.
like it costs me $450 for every batch
Damn.
that we get tested. So we can so one batch is up to 10 pounds of that strain when it harvests, and this is Rhode Island. So if we get Caps Catch was 9 pounds, we get that tested. Cost me $450. Okay, not too bad, but we're small batch, and we run only 3 lights per strain. So at the max, we're getting 6 to 7 pounds. But realistically, if we get 5 or 6 pounds, it costs me $450 to get tested. If I only grow 3 pounds or something, it costs me $450 to get the batch tested. It's for everything though. So like if I take down 10 lights, I gotta get 5 tests done. That's 2 G's in testing. Like the shit's expensive as shit. So what happens is people don't want to risk failing.
And having to pay for more tests.
So
right.
if you fail and you paid that $500, then you fail, then you get it remediated, and now you got to pay that $500 again on the same batch.
Right.
Which sales are heating up in Rhode Island. God bless. So we're super stoked about that, but it's expensive. So there's growers who are just not clean, and just like I'll be the first one to take the live into the grow room and go through everything. There's imperfections, there's bugs, there's everything. It's just how cannabis is, but there's a way to upkeep it and scrub your floors and scrub the cracks and clean your filters and do everything. And then there's the Band-Aid guys. And, unfortunately,
Band-Aid guys.
there's a lot of Band-Aid guys in every market. So,
Yeah. The Band-Aid
but there's a
guys
lot
is
of great
crazy.
cultivators in Rhode Island, so we focus on the positives,
They said said it should be banned. Grow it right or don't grow it at all. And he said, back in the day, I would always hear about water curing flour for the purpose of removing chlorophyll specifically. Is that a real thing or
What
just
was it?
some bullshit? Back in the day, I would always hear about water curing flour for the purpose of removing chlorophyll
Water
specifically.
curing?
To remove chlorophyll.
Yeah, so probably just like not just like flushing into.
Well,
it
he's asking, is that bullshit? Like, or like, is
Yeah,
it a
to-
wives' tale?
I
Or?
don't exactly know what that is.
Well,
but
I think the only way to truly break down your chlorophyll levels is to dry and cure properly.
yeah.
I think that's the only
There
way.
you go.
If you're pushing your plant until it dies and then just keep giving it water, I mean, that's probably what he's talking about, like water curing. I've never heard of it. I never heard that.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think he answered the question.
Water curing. Never heard of it.
Sounds
There
like
is
some
a
bullshit.
There's a new system out. I don't know if it's new. It's new to me. Called CryoCure.
Yeah, I know those guys. Yeah.
They reached out to me.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's like when you chop the plant, because normally when you chop the plant, you lose like 80% of the weight of the plant.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's like a giant harvest, right? So like it's just a huge freeze dryer.
Oh.
Yeah.
but it's supposed to keep like a lot more.
Yeah. You're basically like from harvest to sale, you can cut that like. So what's harvest to sale for you? Probably like 4 or 5 weeks maybe. Yeah, like if you could get testing immediately for that crop, like you could do it within like 48 hours from
Mhm.
harvest to sale. But like you would need testing obviously, but that's the idea, just to get
Shout
from
out
harvest to sale.
Canalytics.
He said soaking the plants in bins of water to clean it off. Some people do it to
Oh.
PM outdoor plants.
Yeah.
Old school going like
Yeah.
water to
Nah,
what they use.
that ain't it.
People it's not hightails though. That's real, but that's
For
disgusting.
outdoors?
Not recommended.
That is disgusting.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Don't do it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gross.
Oh.
Booth patrol.
Yeah.
Poof patrol is crazy.
I'll tell you what. There's a lot of fuck shit that goes on, and yo, I mean, dude, even today, cannabis is an ever evolving market, and it's an ever evolving industry, and people are learning every day. You know, there's new techniques that come out. There's new this, new that, new whatever. So, I would never dip my plants in some water.
Yeah, I don't think any cultivator in the industry that has a license would ever do that. That's just kind of absurd. That's absurd, yeah.
Red flag.
Yeah, that's up the hill shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys got any questions for us, drop them in the chat, 'cause we got eyes on the chat.
Remediation, man. All I'm saying is, if you're remediating your flower, just disclose that. You know?
Why, you don't have to?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, no.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting, actually.
You definitely should have to.
What got all of you guys into cannabis? That's a deep question.
I don't know, just as just trying to figure out what I was smoking, really. That's what got me into it. I mean,
Like you should just, eventually you just wanted to start growing your
Yeah,
own.
yeah.
I feel you. What about you?
I've been such a motherfucker for money since as long as I can remember. I used to sell laser pointers in 6th grade in candy bags. I'd bag up fucking 5 different pieces of candy and sell it for $1. And I was just, when one of my friends, shout out my boy Alfred, came through, it was like 7th grade. Came through with some, it was like, bro, I swear to God, it was called like chocolate mids or some shit. And it was the most boofest weed in the world, but shit was weed. Smoked it. Used to have a little one-hitter type thing. And I remember like immediately I started selling weed. I was like, yo, there's money in this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I got this. There's a couple different sides to this, but I got this. I immediately because this is just how it was. I bought like a HP.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I smoked weed. I bought a HP. Didn't know what I was gonna
Straight
do
to
with it.
the HP,
You know
huh?
what? But
Okay.
the first thing I did with it, was take all the seeds out. I took all the seeds out, and then I looked it up, and I put them in some paper towels, some wet paper towels. I put them under my bed, forgot about them. Like 3 weeks later, my mom fucking is like, "What the fuck is this?" Pulls out, it was like a big Ziploc bag, and dude, they were sprouted like this long, like in the fucking bag. I was like, "Oh, it's just something for school, like whatever." Took them to my boy's house.
Wait, she actually didn't know what it was?
Nah, cause you couldn't tell.
Oh,
It was
okay.
just seeds that had sprouted. It
They
was
probably
just,
weren't even green because they were under
Oh,
your bed.
okay.
Yeah, they were just little sprouts.
Yeah.
Got you.
But I had taken them to my boy's house where I basically grew up, and he was like, you know, we should plant them and whatever, but none of them lived. So about like a year later-ish, my boy's mom was like, you boys need to start growing pot because that's going to be the future. And she didn't know her ass from her elbow. She wasn't putting us on a no game. She wanted us to grow her free weed.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She wasn't on none of that. So she bought us a little 400 watt HPS, you know?
Damn.
And we built, it was like a bin like
Hooked
this
it up.
big. We cut 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes. We had some recirculating pumps in there, and we had a little deep water culture set up.
Yeah.
I bought seeds from Attitude Seed Bank, and they came overseas, and they came in a little wallet, and then we had to find the seeds. Super Lemon Haze, White Widow, and some other generic ass fucking whatever. And we grew it out, and it was 8th grade. Fucking harvested that shit. My boy's house, who it was, he took a little more than me. He took like 60%, gave me 40%. And this, like, the thing was that this weed was fire. Like, this was fire. And
Yeah, it was probably better than anything you were getting.
it was.
For sure.
And the minute that we had it, dude, I remember I came home. It was 8th grade. I was supposed to be home. Fucking, you know, the street lights go out. I gotta be home. I got home at like 10:30, school night. Had shit all over my hat, all weed. I'm chopping these plants down in Bigley. My mom was like, "What the fuck is that? You fucking stink." She's like, "Go take a shower. What are you rolling in shit?" She didn't know. My mom was super religious. She didn't know shit. So,
Oh my God.
so fucking another funny story. So all through high school, I sold weed and grew weed. Like, that's just what I did. Like, that's who I was. That's what everyone knew me as. That kid grows weed. He got the weed, whatever. My mom was so religious that the minute I got home, all that outside life that I had going on was cut. And it was home. I was just at home.
Right,
No weed stuff at home.
right.
But every single minute I was thinking about that shit. One day, sitting there, it's like 10th or 11th grade. It was one of those things. My memory was so clear. I had like little dime bags, fucking a bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? I'd sell them. And you know, when you're that age and you're trapping, like, you know if there's something missing. You know what I'm saying? I had
Yeah,
like
of course.
8 bags, but I had 7, and I didn't know where the 8th one was.
Right.
And it was just a little dub sack.
Yep.
So I'm sitting on my couch, fucking. I'm watching Drake and Josh. I'm chilling, and my little brother comes down the stairs, and he's like holding this dub in his hand, and he walks right by me, like right by the TV, and he's just holding it like it was like a piece of evidence. And I was like, I couldn't even say anything. And he went in the kitchen. My stepdad was a G. My stepdad was a G. My mom was livid, but my stepdad, like, he smoked weed.
Yeah.
So I knew something was coming. So I'm sitting on the couch, and my stepdad's like, "Hey, Zach, can you come in here?" I'm like, "Oh, fuck, I'm bagged." I walk in, this motherfucker's breaking it up on a plate. Breaking it up. I'm like, he's like, "You know what this is?" I'm like, "No." But I saw Josh had that earlier. Whatever that was, I saw he had some of those on him. And my stepdad was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got away with it, bro. They fucking chewed my older brother out, a new asshole." I fucking played that shit off. But
Damn.
we kept growing. I kept growing all through high school. Got caught with weed a couple times. Got caught at school with weed. You know how that shit goes.
Yep.
Fucking dogs at my locker.
I know all about that.
And then, it really just, I felt, now I'm so into the whole genetic side of things. I'm literally addicted to it. I lose sleep over it. Especially since I've met Zoom. Especially since I met him, I have such a deeper understanding for the plant.
Yeah.
Like, seeing it at a macro level and seeing why our stuff is so different, like, that's really important today.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, there's another question for Zoom. It says,
Yeah.
I have a question for Zoom. What's the best macro rail for aspiring cannabis photographers?
Cognisys. Just look up Cognisys stacking, and you'll find it.
Cognisys
yeah.
stacking.
Cognisys or the Y.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're like $500.
500
Alright,
bucks.
so
I've run through like 3 of them already.
Just the shit that creeped me
So.
out.
Oh, that's the rail that moves
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Pause. Sue just texted me.
Uh-oh.
She was putting Natalie to bed.
Yeah.
This is what I be talking about with kids, right? Look, I wasn't talking about nothing. Sue ain't even watching this.
What happened? Are you in trouble?
No.
Oh.
Relax. Out of nowhere. Sue's not watching this because I know she's putting the kids to bed. If the kids would be fucking whatever. We were talking about kids, right? And an interesting subject is reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
And she just goes, Natalie said that she died before she found me as a mom.
Just now.
She just told her that?
You want to stay on crypto?
Natalie said
Wow.
things like that before, like, before you were my mommy.
Well, they
She
can
says
remember
that.
their past lives.
I know. Natalie says it all the time. I was an old lady and stuff, like, crazy.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That just hit my phone though.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's crazy.
Wow, dude. Shout out Natalie, though. They said that's wild.
I feel like I'm so in tune with all that stuff. Like, I should be trying to let my kids think, and I don't cut them off from anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom, if I had said some shit like that, because my mom's super religious, she would have been like, no.
Hell
She'd
no.
be like, no, that's not what happened.
Right.
Whereas I'm like, yeah? How'd it go down?
Yeah, tell me about
You
it. Yo, what's up with the cannabis cup coming up?
Oh, no.
Isn't that like, is that happening?
A lot
Next
of
month?
questions about it.
What, in Mass or Rhode
No,
Island?
Rhode Island.
No, the Rhode Island one.
So, pharmacist hit me up.
Shout out pharmacist.
Shout out big pharmacist, big industry head. Hit me up. He's like, yo, we're doing this cup or whatever. I know it's dragged down a little bit because of like regulation and stuff. They're just trying to make sure they do everything the right way. So I'm not actually sure when it's gonna go down.
Oh,
Also,
did they not post a rescheduled date?
they might have, but I'm not hip to it yet.
Oh.
But also, we really are sold out. I couldn't put 1/8 together right now. We have no product.
Oh.
I couldn't put
right.
a single eighth together. So I'm trying to like
Right.
maneuver some stuff, but we can definitely enter rosin into the cup. But
Okay.
I don't know if we can enter flour.
All right. So rosin in the cup.
I'm that
Flowers.
sold out. And-
Flowers a maybe.
And listen, with where we're at with this build out, like, it's just not like with every dollar matters right now. It does. So we got a couple
Yeah,
big meetings coming up.
Is all CMS stock sold or more coming soon? What-
100% all the stock we have is sold.
So is
the
there
next
stuff
thing-
in dispensaries right now though?
There is. It's probably. I know Mother Earth is probably pretty much out. They're one of our bigger. We have one more order going out to Solar tomorrow. Right? No, Wednesday. We have one more order going to Solar Wednesday, and then after that, you probably won't see anything on the shelves until September.
So nothing left at Mother Earth right now.
There's stuff left, but it's very low.
What do you, if you had to guess, what's there right now?
I checked today. Sherbadelic, Scribblers, all our pre-rolls are sold out. Straw cream cake vape carts. And I think that's it.
All right, so there you go. Mother Earth, you gotta go grab that shit. There's a few left of each.
Aura got some players cake and some pre-rolls, but I heard that they're already out of mango. We dropped those off like.
They might have rousing.
They do have rousing. Greenleaf still has $40 live rousing grams. They didn't change it.
That's good.
So.
All right, so all of them got stuff right now. Mother Earth, Greenleaf,
Yes, but
Aura.
the problem is they purchased like 2 weeks ago, and normally like with the purchase sizes that we get will be sold. We sell out after like 2 to 3 weeks. And the problem is normally we restock, but we cannot restock for the rest of this month.
Right.
The next plants that are gonna be sold are still like 10 days flushing. So
Pretty soon, my jar's gonna be the last few left.
that's it. Man.
Stop playing. But
So,
yeah, there you go.
okay.
That's where it's at.
Another thing that I want to address, I want to ask, I don't know how many people we got in here right now. One thing I want to ask is, are you guys, because we're dealing with this with upper management right now, are you guys more into, you guys and girls, are you more into the CMS staple flavors, or do you like to see us keep changing the flavors up? Because with the new build, I'm dealing with my partners and whatever, and we're talking about if we should just run 5 of the hitters
That's a good
and
question.
then mix them in, or if we should just keep tracking. Because right now what we're tracking is each quarter of this year, we've switched the genetics from previous. So by the end of the year, we should have rotated at least 25 strains in, which I feel like a lot of places don't do.
No, but if I were to do it, I would have like 5 like staples and then have like 2 that
See,
you
because
run.
we have 34 lights now, but we're gonna have 240. So triple tier, which you're familiar with.
Yeah, I would run
The
2.
bottom rows should be the
Yes.
flower hitters, right?
Yeah, I would run like 200 lights for your staples and then 40 for stuff that you want to cycle in and out. That's what I would do.
Not a bad
Fast
idea.
flushes too. We gotta remember.
Yeah. You want to
Yeah.
cycle some stuff. You want to always have that new stuff.
See, the problem is, a lot of stuff's so good,
Yeah.
you know? Like when you came to film the bunch rounds, every time you come, you're like, yo, bro, the fucking shit looks good. When you came and you looked at the bunch, you were like, yo, this is probably one of the better things that I've shot here.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shots that you have is some of the bunch runch rotations.
Yeah.
But, dude, bro, what's in the room right now is fucking nuts.
Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait to shoot those.
Grease Trap? Don't sleep on Grease Trap.
I know, I can't wait to even just smoke Grease Trap.
Fireball.
I've been hearing about Grease Trap for
Fireball's
so
some of the
long.
most run shit. Third Coast. Pheno hunted and selected by Big Blunt and me. Fireball is fucked up. Double Dipper. Listen, I think Blueberry Breath is probably one of our best strains.
That is like the
Yeah,
that's
That's
gotta
become a
be, like, one
staple.
of my favorite smells, other than Splenda. Splenda is
We have something new that's, I think, is going to sit right next to Blueberry Breath.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's that smell like?
Fucking, dude, like berry fucking fusion.
Yeah. Yeah. That's dope. That blueberry is just like so spot on though.
Yeah.
Smells like a blueberry muffin.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think that the
for real.
blueberry is one of the, like, because obviously, like, there's a thing with blueberry that's just like in weed, which a lot of the times it's not really blueberry, but that Blueberry Breath that we got is real deal.
Straight blueberry.
Yeah, that's what everyone says once they try it.
Blueberries
They're
are
like,
my
yo,
favorite.
the math is mathin'.
Oakland Beach Kush Cakes on the way too.
Oh yeah, that's the one I'm really waiting for.
What we got? Let me go through the room. We got more. Oh no, we got hot sauce, Fireball, Oakland Beach Kush Cake. We got the Whoa coming out. We got Double Dipper, Grease Trap, Triple Stuffed, Guava, Scribblers. I mean, dude, it's not normal. Like what? Like the rotation we got's not normal. I just like I said, I'm not kidding. Ask Wally. I'm not kidding when I say I just popped like 700 seats.
Yeah, he's not kidding.
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh, I only popped 40.
Hunt's ready to kill me, bro. Hunt's like,
I'm somewhere
God,
punching in the air right now.
where am I putting them? And I'm like, dude, figure it out. Like, dude, I got fucking 6 veg lights, bro. I popped 700 fucking
But
seats.
shout out to Bunt for figuring it out, though.
Yeah.
Always does.
And he will. And he
Always
will. Listen,
does.
we're a little delayed on the build out right now. We got some electrical panels that they're a little behind, but we should know this Friday if they ship out. Problem is, we're behind like schools and hospitals. They're the same panels, so they put us last on the like needs fucking list.
Yeah.
But whatever, dude. We're fucking working on it. Another thing I want to know: do our glass jars matter for our packaging to the consumer? Yeah,
Yeah, they do. Absolutely.
The black jars?
our glass jars, because we could go with Mylar bags, which would be so much fucking cheaper.
Yeah, but you guys have like really good bud.
Yeah,
And, like,
It's
that
not
shit
gonna-
squishes.
right.
Like trichome heads are just so delicate.
That jar hit different. That jar, I think the chat will agree that the jar hit different. Something about like even when I first met Cap, first seen the jar, instantly my first impression was, oh, this feels and looks nice as a product.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was holding like a high end weed,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, people aren't buying them for the jars, but the jars do preserve it better for sure.
Right.
The bag.
Well, yeah, it goes with the branding. You got top shelf weed, you want like a top shelf presentation. Plus, like you said, the bags can squish it sometimes, and then the bud don't look the same when you open it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the jars hold the smell way better.
Yeah.
Smell too. Yeah, it's nice when you pop that jar for the first time and get that blueberry breath
Mm.
smell, you know? I don't know if the bag hits the same.
Yeah, is one of those blueberry?
No.
No.
Nope.
Nah, that's gone.
Yeah, that's like Player's Cake and I forget what else. Might be a little Splenda.
Let's smell some of these right now.
Empty.
That one's empty.
Let's see.
I
Oh, we
might
got
have just-
something in here.
I have a bunch of jars, so if they're empty, I have more.
Empty.
What is that?
Empty.
You see?
That smell like
Player's Cake.
yeah, it's a new Player's Cake.
Yeah. Yeah, you just wouldn't get that. You just wouldn't get that in a bag. You wouldn't.
That Player's Cake is gas too.
Shout out, bro.
Stay with glass.
Know the name.
Keep bringing that up to the camera.
Oh yeah. Shout out my little bro in the chat. Glass jars always better. Yeah, no, I feel you. It's true.
I don't know if it'll.
You're gonna have to back it up a bit right there.
It's like the jar almost feels like the difference between going to like TJ Maxx and then going to like the Supreme store. You know?
Oh, yep. I'm about to get a.
Oh, let's see.
They said Hunt's got to be on the next episode.
Yeah, he does.
Delayed by like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Alright. There's some Player's Cake right there.
I still got the live rosin that dropped at Mother Earth. That first Mother Earth drop. I forget what it was. Candy garlic maybe.
Yeah.
I still got a full gram of
Would
that.
you ever consider a CMS jar recycle program? We're thinking about it.
Oh shit.
Thinking about that. cap. Could RI ever implement a deposit fee on glass jars for weed like they do with alcohol bottles? Maybe. I don't know. What do you guys do with all the fucking jars? That's what I want to know.
I keep a lot of them.
Tim, what do you do with all the jars?
I save them. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them yet, but I got a drawer full of them.
Oh shit.
They're just too high quality to throw away.
If you can't hear, Tim said he got a drawer full of them. There's a few people that have drawers full of them.
Yo, man. Everyone says they keep them. Maybe we can start some sort of recycling project. I don't know.
Like an exchange program type shit. Yeah. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, everyone says they stack them up. No one. I don't know why no one likes to throw them out. I don't know what that's about.
They feel too nice to throw them out.
Everyone says they save them. It's mad funny. I don't want to give them up. Nah, fuck that. Don't give them up. Where's Bud?
Oh, that bud looked nice on camera too. I just seen the delayed stream on my phone. He said, I don't want to give him up. Yeah, so maybe we get Bun on the next episode.
Boat was supposed to come by.
He's on his bullshit. Everything that can. Everything. What's the statute of limitation? Rhode Island.
Oh God. I don't know.
In Rhode Island.
What is that?
I feel like it's already a bad idea, whatever you're thinking. Whatever it is.
Yeah. Very well, it could be.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
The state of Rhode Island imposes a 3-year.
He says start filling potholes with CMS jars.
It's 3 years?
3-year limit for personal injury, professional malpractice, including medical and product liability.
Nope, that ain't it.
No.
No bad. God.
Alright, so we're gonna skip that. We're gonna skip that. But yeah, is what it is.
Oh, I had one other topic too, I think. Hold on.
Zoom Gardens in the chat.
Yep.
What y'all think? We should keep these podcasts going or what? This one took a lot of work.
Nah, we got the logistics set up now. So now that like next time we run it back, it's gonna go a lot smoother. We'll be able to just jump right into it.
It's almost
Tonight was the
it's
first
almost
time.
like you don't want to move anything.
I know, right? Right. Yeah, I don't think they realize how much goes into setting up a podcast, like a decent looking
Well, they
one.
can tell. I'm sure that they can tell this one's a lot more official.
Yeah. If you didn't see the first one, go back to the first one. Just even if you just watch a couple seconds of it, just to see. That was us trapping off the MacBook. Now we got like 3 nice 4K cameras. We got the key light stand, 2 MacBooks, microphones. Went crazy on this one. All in a week too. Or no, it was 2 weeks, I guess, since we did the last one.
Roughly.
Roughly 2 weeks.
Well, we figured this shit out all in like.
And shout out Tim Donovan. I don't know which camera, this one. Shout out Tim Donovan, podcast, Stop Playing podcast producer. Came through big for us. The podcast almost didn't happen too tonight. That was like the dirty little secret. We were like, people would hit me up at 8:30. Is the episode happening? Like, yeah, just technical difficulties. But
ain't gonna lie, I
Tim
was
figured
slumped.
that shit out.
I was slumped.
And yeah, we weren't even sure if Cap was pulling up for a minute
The
there.
way, yo, bedtime, bro, the torture.
Right.
The kids, I got 3 kids at home. They be like, fucking. I got this little, it's like this little clock in their room, but it plays music. I'll be sitting in the chair, fucking. Getting put to sleep out here.
Sometimes wake up at 3 in the morning sometimes, right?
Yeah, I'm texting you
Yeah.
guys. Fuck, fell asleep. Fell asleep putting the kids to bed again. My bad.
Throws a buddy at Bunt's house, falls asleep.
Threw a straight banger at Bunt's house.
Right.
Didn't even make it.
I rushed home from Six Flags. He's texting the affiliates chat. I'm just gonna say it.
Go ahead.
I'm driving home from Six Flags, and then all of a sudden I pick up my phone. It's like a
Yo,
4-way
first off,
call.
Shout out Bunt. We love you, bro.
Yeah, of course. Shout out Bunt, 9-inch.
Yeah.
I pick up the phone. It's like 4 of them on. It's like Cap, Wallison, Bunt, and Cap's just like dead serious. Keeps saying, "Banger at Bunt's house tonight." While we're on the phone, he starts hitting like the CMS affiliates chat online. He's just all these group chats. Party at Bunt's house. It's kind of a joke at first.
Has like our really big supporters.
Yeah. It's like
a good amount of
30
people.
Yeah.
something people,
Yeah.
whatever. And then it's jokes at first, but then he's like, "No, seriously." And then he drops the address. And then he drops Bunt's like phone number.
And then I deleted Bunt from the chat so they couldn't say
And then he kicks Bunt from the chat. And everyone was like, "Is it happening?" People show up. This guy like falls asleep. Doesn't even show up. Everyone's there. We're texting him. No one could reach him. Ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a wrap for episode 2, boys. Oh, wait, do we have any other questions in the chat?
Cosmic Wax. Need to host some special guests and run ads now that you have the gear. We are working on special guests now.
Yeah. We need to get the logistics right. Now that we're good, we can start working on bigger picture, bringing some people on.
Better we don't figure if I go over and see somebody with 20 or 30 CMS jars, I might just have to go try some myself. That's your bro. Get industry guests, artists, and Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. I'll call him up.
We should get Bigfoot.
I'll give him a call. Actually, he doesn't have a phone yet. He only has a beeper. So
You gotta pay.
If you could beat
Get a
him,
page,
that'd
yeah.
be cool.
yeah, I'll try.
Who would you guys like to see as guests? I'm curious.
Yo, other Rhode Island cultivators. I could get some of the guys from Advanced Newts in here. You could probably get some cool people in here.
Yeah, for sure.
Capulators, bitch ass.
Who? Hold on. I don't like Walston's face right now. That one went over my head.
Yo. Shout out to you, Big Cap.
But yeah, we'll run a poll on your page and my page tomorrow, and we'll see who do you want as guests for the podcast. We'll see what people say.
Zoom's like, alright. Yo.
Who's technical directing tonight? I see someone switching cameras live. Yeah, bro, we have a whole switchboard.
That's Big Stimmy over there.
Yeah, that's big Timmy Donovan. We're gonna have to think of a CMS name for Tim, but yeah. In fact, I'm gonna tag his Instagram. What's your Instagram? Is it just Timothy Donovan?
At Timothy Donovan, yeah.
Yeah, I'm tagging him right now in the chat. Follow Tim. That's big producer Tim right there. This shit wouldn't have been possible without Tim because, yo, doing a podcast is fucked. It is fucked, man. Like, yeah, it takes a lot, man. You have to, all the equipment together, if you tallied all this up right now, stupid. Just streaming from the living room like a live broadcast news station.
Yeah, bro. Those.
Rearrange your.
Tim's like literally switching live cameras as we talk.
I said to John, hey, I forgot to mention, we gotta rearrange your set.
I'm like, fuck it.
Let's go.
Let's go. Send it. Time is money. But yeah, fucking. I think that's it. We've been streaming for a little over an hour.
At least
Yeah.
Hour 29.
hour and a half.
But yeah. Episode 2. Now we're off to the races.
Now we're
You
seasoned.
know? We're seasoned. We're ready to go.
You know what I'm saying?
Kicking
I'm
shit
feeling-
off.
Feeling seasoned out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Shout out Advanced Nutrients one more time.
Shout out Advanced Nutrients.
Shout out High Times.
Shout out Zoom on the high times.
Shout out Zoom on the High Times. Yeah. And yeah. Cheers to episode 2, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Oh, shout out Obi.
Shout out Obi Go
Obi Go in the building.
in the cut.
Freshest seagull around.
All right.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
It's over. Go to bed. Stop playing. We out here.
We cut?